Before we part company tonight, it is worth noting that earlier in this program we had quite an impassioned discussion featuring Scotty Nell Hughes and Steve Deace, supporters of Donald Trump and Ted Cruz respectively. So much attention focused on those two candidates. A lot of people are asking, where's John Kasich? Well, that is a very good question to ask the former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Pete Hoekstra, who supports Kasich in his run for president. Pete rejoins us from Newsmax, Washington. Second time around tonight. Thanks very much, Pete. And I hate to frame this like the old game, where's Waldo? But where's John Kasich?
John Kasich is busy campaigning in Oregon and some other states. You know, clearly the focus right now on the presidential campaign is Indiana. This may be Ted Cruz's last stand. He wanted to go one-on-one against Trump. He now has that opportunity in Indiana. He pulled all the stops out by naming Carly as his vice presidential candidate 3 months before a convention. He recognizes that if he does not win next week, Tuesday, it's all over for Ted Cruz, and then the only possible candidate that might still have a chance of stopping Donald Trump is John Kasich.
And yet, when you take a look at John's situation, he's won one state, his home state. He's been an effective governor of Ohio. We know him from his days in the House, but with only one victory, why should he remain in the race?
Well, John believes that, and we believe in the campaign, that in these last couple of months before the convention, that John's going to keep building momentum, and when the choice becomes Donald Trump or John Kasich, people are going to see that John's got the experience, the background, and the ability to disrupt Washington and to beat Hillary, that he will be the candidate going into an open convention that has the momentum to grab this nomination. Now, clearly, the window is closing. If Donald Trump wins in Indiana, it's going to be very hard to stop Mr. Trump from being our presidential candidate. But you know, John's still got the supporters who are willing to vote for him and who are willing to fund this campaign. And as long as he has those two things, he will stay in the race.
And he is in the race just out west in Oregon, far from the roar of the grease paint, the smell of the crowd. Pete Hoekstra, thanks very much for your assessment tonight. We really do appreciate it. You betcha. Now, this programming reminder, Newsmax Prime plans to make you part of the conversation starting next week. Here's how you can get in on the conversation. We've done some of this during our election coverage and last night, but next week it'll become a mainstay of the program when you can call in to 1-877-NEWSMAX, 1-877-639-7629, and we are going to start talking to you about every item in the news, allowing you to let us know what's on your mind, because here at Newsmax TV, we are not here to tell you what to think. We invite you to call in and share your views, and that's what it's all about. True interactive media, really the first interactive media, telephone, and we're using television for it. Speaking of things on your mind, now it's time for the way you see it. Your comments via social media, and tonight we hear first from Lynn, writing in about the GOP and voters. Here's what Lynn says. The Republication Party thinks that the American people are so uneducated that we would vote for someone that they select who is not our choice. Wow, are they ignorant? If you take away my candidate, Donald Trump, you will lose. Time for the Republican establishment to wake up. Terry writes in about Senator Ted Cruz and his references to Donald Trump losing to Hillary Clinton in the general election. And here's what he writes. Terry says, JD, I think Senator Cruz needs to listen to what he says. He keeps saying that polls show a vote for Trump is a vote for Hillary. He needs to take another look, because those same polls say he loses to Hillary also. The Republican Party is over as we know it. Well, I know this. I'd like to know what you think. And before we start the calls on Monday, here's the way to let me know. Get in front of your computer and send your comments to me. NewsmaxTV.com/comments. And you can find us on Twitter. Our handle is @Newsmax Prime. That'll do it for tonight. Stay brave, stay free, stay tuned.